All right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about four wide receivers. Today is a wide receiver section, and we have covered offensive line and edge. I'm just going to talk about four wide receivers. Not going to talk about all of the top guys that everybody's chattering about or, picking on their mock drafts. I think I have make this emphasis that we do not need a wide receiver in the first round, maybe not even in the second round. And I'll tell you guys why. Well, perhaps if we trade down from number two, a few spots, which something that I've been calling for, first round and second round, we need to trade down. So with that, we have to acquire more picks, as I've advocated for several times in my previous recordings. But four wide receivers that I want to talk about are as follows. Number one, Ted Hurst. And we'll go look at his profile. Mr. Ted Hurst. He is 6'4", ran a 4.42. And by the way, although I want him very fast, but there are other ingredients in a receiver's character and willing to play and be tough guy is something that his attitude is going to show up in the game. And a lot of the things that we don't know as a common podcasters and so-called journalists, we're not really looking at the attitude and the work ethics of the wide receivers. So a lot of the stuff that we're discussing here, it's on an assumption and some of the info that we're getting from here and there. But as far as the wide receivers, the first person that I'm really looking at is someone that I've been mocking for over 2 months now. Some guy that I like is Ted Hurst. And he is from Oregon, rather Georgia State. His arms are 32.5-inch. He ran a 4.42, as I mentioned. He has almost 10-inch hands, 9 3/4, 6'4". And I'm looking at his receiving percentiles. Intermediate routes, 81%. Deep threat, 84%. His blocking is kind of better than some of the other guys in the earlier rounds, and on the top 10 or top 15 guys. He's at 65%, and short receiving is at 77%. So this is one of the guys that I think we could probably get in later second round. If we trade down maybe top of the third, it's something that I would look at. Then the next receiver that I want to focus on is somebody that I've come to really like just a few days ago. And I believe I have scoured the internet and I've scoured all of the social media prior to me having picked this guy. I hadn't seen his name being mentioned. Now, that's not to say, some of us will pick something and other people will catch up and vice versa, and we'll follow what everybody else is looking at. We reevaluate. But this is one guy that I was looking at a few days ago before, like I said, anybody else was even mentioning his name. And I actually did a short on him on one of my videos on YouTube. It's Dejon Stribling. Now, I don't know how much you guys know about this guy, but he reminds me kind of like your Debo Terrell Owens vibes and Juwan Jennings. With that, I mean he's physical. He bangs it whenever he wants. He's not shy about contact. And he's got good hands. He's got good leverage. And he's got pretty good speed. He sits at 6'2" with 10-inch hands. I know hand sizes for wide receivers, a lot of the times the scouts are looking at bigger hands, the better. He's got 31.5-inch arms, pretty good enough, and did a 4.36 40. And let's look at his percentile, his receiving percentile. His hands percentile, like catching hands, 90%. That goes to show you having 10-inch hands is going to make sure that he's going to hold on to the ball. Short receiving, he's at 85%. Intermediate routes, 91%. And deep threat, 88%. Blocking, 71%. I've seen tight ends at lower blocking percentile than this guy. And, he's one of those guys that when you pick him, I think he's probably going to go in second round. He's going to get more and more mentioned. Like I said, when I first mentioned him in my short, I hadn't seen anybody talking about him. And I'm talking about all the usual people on YouTube and, podcasters, journalists, and whatnot. No one that I could think of unless I missed it. And this is something I think is a diamond in the rough that you could pick later down in the second round, maybe top of the third. If he fell to that spot, I would kind of be itching to pick him because he's one of those guys. Like I said, he has those Terrell Owens, Juwan Jennings, Debo Samuel's kind of a vibe to him. His physicality, his willingness to block, his willingness to go through the tackles. Just go check the shorts that I put on him. It's just a very small short, but just that bang that he puts on two defenders literally flattens them. That's what you guys want. And one thing we have to not forget is tone setters. When a player like that comes in and makes a play like that, it makes the whole team just kind of go crazy. The offense goes crazy. The defense goes crazy. Those linebackers that could be slacking off on their blocks, they're going to come in banging. He's a tone setter, and that's what you want, a tone setter. You want someone to come and just knock someone out, either on linebacker or an edge or a wide receiver, So he's one of the guys that if we draft him, even at the bottom of the two, I won't be complaining. I'm willing to, forego my agenda of saying no wide receivers first and second round. If he falls there, I'm taking him without a question at lower, at the bottom of the second. Because I think somebody might pick him in the top 15 in the second round. Crossing my finger he won't. But, So, and the third person that I want to talk about, and these are, again, guys, these are all guys that we can have from second, third, fourth, and fifth rounds. Granted, we trade down, which I'm proposing from first and second round and acquiring more picks. Picking third round, having another round in fifth and maybe sixth. And I've covered that before on my other videos. So the third guy that I want to talk about is Eric McAllister. Here's another wide receiver, kind of a gem. He is from TCU. He ran a 4.52, a little bit slower. Again, I'm not too worried about that. We have fast enough players in our wide receiver group, and with Ted Hurst and even Stribling, will be fast enough. But this guy, he is, I don't know if I just mentioned, he's 6'4". He has almost 10-inch hands, 9 3/4. Uh, he weighs about 194. I think he could come into camp maybe at 200. And then his percentile, as far as hands, he's at 69%. It's debatable. Short receiving percentile is 84%. His intermediate routes, 86%. And his deep threat is 88%. And his blocking, 64%. Not bad. I've seen blocking for wide receivers at 40 percentiles, 40% percentiles, 50s. He's at 64. So not bad. And I'm not going to go through all of their college production type, but they have pretty good productions. For instance, in 2022, he uh, he averaged 23 and a half yards per catch in 2022. That could be an anomaly, but he had 4 touchdowns and he had 873 yards in 2022. And I believe his last year in college, he finished with 1,190 receiving yards, second most ever by a honored frog wideout, and 10 touchdowns. And they're saying that he had a 254-yard, 3-touchdown performance against SMU. You guys, you production. So, and the last guy that I'm going to talk about, that I've mentioned, that I've mocked on my, I believe I've talked about him or mocked him on my previous channels, is Xavier Thomas. He is, you guys can check him out, read his biography. As I remember, and I don't want to be right on the book with exactly what was said, but I believe he was one of the best in the nation as a returner. He ran a 4.28 I think second or the third fastest in the combine. And his kick return, punt return was phenomenon since we lost our kick returner. So he would be one replacement for our kick return, punt return guy. And he stands at 5'10". He's at 190. He's from LSU, good program. He has percentiles. His hands are 84%. Very good. Short receiving, 76%. Intermediate route, 83%. Deep threat, 80%. I don't think he was a feature as a wide receiver, like 1, 2, or 3. He was more as a kick returner, punt returner. Maybe he saw some action as a wide receiver. But as a punt and kick returner, if we're looking that way, one name to remember is Xavier Thomas. And with that, guys, I think with these wide receivers, if we can land 2 of them, and I would say Stribling and Ted Hurst would be my favorite. Those 2 are going to elevate our wide receiving corps to a much higher level and help us tremendously in the offense. Thank you guys. And please don't forget to share, subscribe, and like, and make a comment. And I will come back to you guys with tight end next time. There's a short list for tight ends, but we'll go through that on my other video. See you guys till then. Talk soon.